Perfect. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to this, what is going to be an incredible masterclass with Aylin. I'll just introduce myself again. So my name is Lisa McMurtry and I am your host today for this IAPC&M CPD Rich masterclass with the incredible Aylin. And I'm here to facilitate the masterclass and introduce Aylin and learn lots from her too. So please put in the chat who you are, where you're from, and I'm going to now introduce the incredible speaker. So today we have Aylin Webb, and she is a CBT and ED, I'm actually going to read her profile, CBT and EDMR therapist, she's a psychologist and an NLP practitioner. And her biography says she worked for 15 years as a TV producer and then decided to pursue her passion with psychology. In the last 9 years, she's helped thousands of people overcome their anxiety and stress that is caused by perfectionism, so that they can build their confidence and feel more empowered. So Aylin is an IAPC&M accredited coach specializing in perfectionism. She is an author, and I actually did some training with her in terms of writing a book. And since then, she has a book published and 2 more books on the way, which I'm sure she'll share details about. She's also a podcaster with a podcast called I'm a Perfectionist, Get Me Out of Here. And Aylin has recently published this workbook, which is Transformation Through the Power of Quotes, and she has her podcast, as I've said. So what Aylin is going to talk about today is her favourite topic, which is I'm a perfectionist, get me out of here. So if anyone has any questions during the masterclass, please put them in the chat and we will answer them after Aylin has gone through her presentation. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's really lovely to see you all. Some of you have already written where you're from, where you're joining us from, and what you do, what your specialist area is. It's really honored to have you here. So I will actually start by something quite untraditional. We know that our mind and our body is very connected. So, you know, it's after lunchtime, it's late afternoon. So I'd like to get you to move a little bit to get some more energy. Hello, Kate. Hello, lovely. Ooh, we've got España. Hola, hola. Hi, lovely to meet you. So I just thought just a couple of moves for us, just to get us a little bit of energy. Yes, good. And one here, one there, and up, down, up, down. Yes. Better. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, down, side. Up, down, side. Fantastic. Okay. Well done. Okay, feeling a little bit more energized, hopefully. Yes, fantastic. Okay, well, I do. And now I need a bit of breath, I guess. And we've got someone waiting. Shall I let them in? Okay, brilliant. So let's just, someone is waiting. I am just going to share my screen, but I will go back and forth with sharing the screen, because I don't just want you to be looking at the slides all the time. So, and I really would appreciate it if you could just connect with me in the chat. I will be asking questions every now and again. Do tell me what you think, do comment, and yeah, connect with me. Otherwise it feels a little bit lonely here. And hello, Elijah from Nigeria. That's really amazing. Executive Director with Crest Agro Products. Okay, so I'm a perfectionist, get me out of here, literally. Who here thinks that perfectionism can actually be a good thing, that it can help you strive and help you get better at what you're doing and help you strive for success? Anyone? Or would you think that it's not good for you? Do share with me your thoughts on the chat. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yes, that's right. Margaret, thank you for sharing that. So what to expect from today? We have quite does someone have their microphone on? I think there's some noise coming. Can you, yes, make sure that, yeah. So these are what we are going to be looking at today. I am not going to read them all one by one, but really understanding anxiety and fear, the similarities, the differences, and this cognitive behavioral way of perfectionism, how that works, and the formulation, really, how we can realize that cycle going round and round, and techniques to change the perspective and reduce those negative emotions and behavior and the beliefs, of course. And self-compassion, I really would like to have a look at self-compassion versus self-criticism, because as we know, with perfectionism, there's a lot of critical self, a lot of it, which then makes, of course, the self-esteem very, very vulnerable, that you're never good enough, that you never reach those standards that you expect upon yourself. The practical strategies was also including the mindfulness techniques that will help you a calmer self for a happier future as well. And there will be tools and booklets. You can contact me and I will send them to you. I'll explain what they are. There's some audio resources, and also perfectionism checklist as well, which you might want to use with your clients too. So just a question. Yeah, so there will be some of us here that are recovering perfectionists as well. And it does, as you say, Elijah, come with awareness, just noticing and being aware. So I just would like you to have a look at this picture first. And it is not about finding the 5 difference, but see if there's any difference between the first one and this one. Anyone noticed anything, any difference, anything different between the 2 pictures? Well, let's put it this way. If that was my mom, within a couple of seconds in her home, she would have noticed that the elephant is looking the other way. And so it has always been a nightmare for our cleaners and for us, really, that we could not move anything in the house, because that was her pride. Everything in the house, everything that the way they were done was really important for her. And it really meant a lot about her self-worth and her fear of being judged as well. So what would people say? What would people think if the things were not exactly perfect in our house? And we still, when we go and visit my mom, we still have to make sure that we have the correct breakfast plates when we are laying the table, or correct dinner plates looking, the flowers looking the right direction, because otherwise my mom will not accept, and she will get stressed out that they are not, the flowers are not looking the same direction. So there are lots of other things that I can say about myself and how some of the beliefs about how things should be in order for me to feel good about myself have formed over the years as I was a child. But what I learned about how my house should be comes from my mom. And there was a point where my husband was so desperate. He says, this house looks like a show house. Can we just live here? And can I just have my newspaper or my book here on the coffee table, please? Because everything was just, no, don't touch that. No, you know, we can't have it untidy just in case we get unexpected guests and that they might think my house is untidy. So that was a lot of stress on top of work and, you know, looking after your children and so on, and everything else you have to do. But what is perfectionism really? What is wrong with striving? What's wrong with wanting to have success and having goals? What do you think? What do you think is a problem with perfectionism? What's your take? It controls more. Yes. Yeah. Yes, it makes us try and control a lot more than what we really, in reality, can. Stress. Yes, I think so. There's a lot of stress in perfectionism. The word holds a lot of stress. And sometimes people make that mistake that, oh, this is perfect means, yeah, that's really spot on. So perfectionism must be, we are spot on, we are great, everything is spot on and flawless, which really isn't. It's just kind of packed inside a bit of a posh word, but it is a lot of fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged. A lot of it packed under that posh word. So I do sometimes see some people, some of my clients going, oh, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, as if, you know, it's a good thing, or it's a good trait. Or I saw the other day an advertisement, a job ad saying, we don't mind if you're a perfectionist. Now, that's not a good message to give to young people, that, you know, that it is something actually to be proud of. In fact, it is, you know, I will give you some numbers now that that it is really causing problems. So it seems that as the society is changing, we are putting perfect above the human, imperfect human. And the images in social media are probably not helping. And how we see the television advertisements. I mean, it's not long ago, there were the Christmas ads, and there is that, you know, beautiful table. Everyone is like, oh, we are so happy. There's the granddad and grandma, and everyone is like having the, I don't know, Aldi food, and everything looks so perfect and shiny. The children are running, and the reality is everyone is screaming, the turkey is burned, but they don't show that. So we think we need to live up to those standards, and then we beat ourselves up thinking, why did my Christmas go so wrong? Why can't I have a nice Christmas? Why can't I just have the perfect meal prepared? Why is it always wrong? and everybody else's is always right. So we're going to look at those generalizing as well and minimizing us and maximizing other people's achievements. But I don't know if any of you have heard, there's something called Facetune on Instagram, apparently, and that filters the, you know, the age lines that you might have, but also anything else that people may not like about themselves. And I also hear that the plastic surgeons are extremely busy. So we are having those really different standards. I don't think that 50, 60 years ago, my grandmother or any of our grandmothers worried about having Botox. So what's going on here? What is media doing about how we should look, how our faces should be formed, how our bodies should look like, how our houses should be like, that our houses are apparently 23% bigger now in the past 20 years than 20 years ago. And from 2002 to 2017, the spendings on jewelry, watches, so the luxury good, the phones, doubled, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. And there is, you know, increase in, for example, buying shoes. I mean, I love shoes too, but we still have two feet, you know, just a pair of feet. And so we are used to everything being delivered here and now. Everything has to be now. And this fast moving world with the changing standards that are becoming impossible. So the perception of success has been changing, and that things have to be within certain times, with certain age. I have to be married by the time I am this age, have children by the time I have this. Well, I am 30. I don't even own my own house. So there are lots of expectations that are already imposed upon us by the society. And of course, the companies are not helping by working. They're happy. They just want to sell their stuff. So, you know, research shows that perfectionism has been rising in alarming levels in the past 25 years. And the depression level spiked up by 69% between 2009 and 2017 amongst 16, 17-year-olds, according to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health. So it's about, you know, how many followers I have. Am I being judged? What do other people say? Am I being rejected? Young people, especially with social media, are under a lot of pressure. And there is some work for us to do as coaches to make them aware. So I just want to first touch upon the types of perfectionism. And please, you know, connect with me about what you think about those types of perfectionism. So I'm going to share my screen again and let me know what you think. I think it's this one. Can you see? Yes? Yeah, okay. So there are three types of perfectionism. One of them is the unrealistic standards that you put up on yourself. This is quite common that we go, I should be doing this, I must do that. It's about constantly trying to reach those relentless and unrealistic standards that you put upon yourself, and you might occasionally reach them. Let's say you might have been working on getting a certain job for so many years, and then in the end you get it, and once you get it, you dismiss that achievement. No big deal. It's okay. And the bar goes higher. What's next? Yeah. So you don't congratulate yourself. You don't celebrate your winnings, but you just put the bar higher. So you can see this is a constant run to reach those standards, and exhausting, absolutely exhausting, with no space and tolerance for mistakes or anything going wrong. So when you then don't get something that you wanted or you aimed for, or maybe you made a small mistake, then you doom yourself to be, as you personally, a failure over your whole lifespan. It's not that, oh, I didn't get the job. I didn't get this particular job. No, I am, as my identity, I am a failure. So you can see how, again, fragile your self-esteem can be when your self-worth is constantly dependent on achievements, and those achievements are always so high up, impossible standards. So then the next one, the next type of perfectionism is the expectations from others. Anyone recognizing those with yourself or with your clients? You might have worked with clients that that has been having so high expectations from other people. So you have your high standards and you think, well, I work all these hours. Why can't people do the same? Well, look at them. They go home early. They haven't even done the job properly. I can't trust other people do the job. So I must take over and redo what they're doing. If you're a manager, you would then take over what your team has been working on for a project, perhaps, and then work all through the night before the day of presentation, just going through so that it is perfect. Just have a think about it for a moment, how that would be like for the team, for other people. And also, that's a problem in relationships as well, this constant high expectations from the partners. And it causes a lot of issues too. And the third one is the really problematic one, because it's too wide and based too much on a perception. So that one is more about what you think other people are expecting of you. So, they would expect me to do my job, and otherwise they'll think that I am not good enough, I'm not competent. So you just keep saying yes to everything that people are asking you to do. And then in the end, I must never say no. So in the end, you are overwhelmed because you're taking on a lot more than you can manage and you have time for in the day. But another problem with this one is that the research has seen great increase since 1989. In 1989, there was about 9% of the young people that had perfectionism tendencies. And by 2017, it doubled. And the researchers, they predict that by 2050, 1 in 3 young people will have problems, mental health issues related to what they think are other people's expectations of them, both in work life, academically, and their private lives as well. So again, let's keep our eyes and ears open with young people, so that we can work on that number and reduce this number before 2050. It's in our hands. Yeah, we have some work to do. So perfectionism we see in several areas. Is there any of them? Please do share with me. Do share in the chat. Is there any of these areas that you recognize either within yourself or any of your clients in their professional or academic work or personal appearance, maybe their clothes or how their body looks with sports, or a feeling that they don't deserve to be where they are in all areas? Yeah, so you will probably see with your clients, either some of them might have all of the areas, some specific areas. For example, with me years ago, if I have anyone just popping by now, they wouldn't find a house like a show house. It's very different now. But I also decided that I've got more important things to do in life. So social situations are really one of the very common ones with perfectionism. Just expecting that you should be the best entertainer, that you should be able to make really interesting conversations, just be the perfect entertainer in a social setting. Otherwise, people will think you're weird, you're odd. Yeah. So I am aware that perfectionism is not in DSM-5. I'm not sure why, because I think it should be, personally, because I think that perfectionism lies beneath a lot of psychological problems that are causing anxiety due to unrealistic expectations, where we have, for example, generalized anxiety disorder, where there's a lot of that, which causes a lot of worry and anxiety. And if you're living with perfectionism, you will always have future worries, like, what if it doesn't go perfectly? What if I fluff my words in the presentation, and then it won't be the perfect presentation? It will be horrible. People will judge me. And that would go for obsessive compulsive disorder. It would go for depression, because when you have these constant expectations that are so hard to reach, but consequently you also beat yourself up every time you don't reach them or you make mistakes, then no doubt that depression is inevitable. So depression is one of the psychological issues caused by perfectionism. Social anxiety, as I mentioned earlier, and eating disorder. In order to have the perfect body, of course, I have to have the perfect body. This is what everybody has. I mean, look at the magazines, look at what they're doing with Photoshop. I know that I'm aware that, for example, some singers or the actresses, they had to ask for their bums to be corrected and not edited in Photoshop. So if everything is photoshopped, then we start having those images that we are not. So in perspective, we have the striving for success in one side and distressed perfectionist on the other side here. And I think that the most important part of it is self-worth being built from achievements. So, and those achievements are so high up constantly that they're so hard to get to. And when you finally get there, you dismiss them. So you don't actually count it as an achievement, really. And so you beat yourself up and you're highly critical of yourself. and you focus on your flows, on the things that you can't do properly. And so where your focus goes, your energy flows, of course, causing stress and anxiety and depression too. So, and the difference is, of course, being able to learn when you make a mistake and being able to move on and not taking that it's that event, that project, or that presentation is just a presentation. It doesn't mean who you are in terms of I am. Well, you know, the presentation didn't go well. It doesn't mean I am a failure. So, but I hope this is going well. Okay, anyway, I hope you're still all enjoying so far. Okay, so and moving on from there, I just wanted to look into a bit of a cognitive behavioral way of perfectionism. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm loving it too. So I hope everyone is enjoying it. So, looking at the cognitive behavioral way of perfectionism, our minds we are really humans. We are like a tree. Our automatic thoughts are easier to find and be aware of. They are like the branches and the leaves of the tree. And then we have some rules and assumptions that we employ about how things should and must be, because otherwise we have got limiting beliefs that we don't want to get to. And they are deeper down. So they are a little bit more challenging to get to and to shift. They are the beliefs that we have formed when we were quite a young age, but there comes a time that, like everything else, they need upgrading. Like you would upgrade your computer, we need to upgrade our beliefs as well. So what kind of things are they? So they are within perfectionism, they are quite rigid rather than flexible. And there's a lot of should and must, how things should be, must be. And every little mistake, dwelling on them, negative, comparing yourself constantly negative. Others are so much better. They are doing so much. They are so much happier. They are managing a lot better than I do. I'm so useless. And I'm not doing a good job. I fail everything and so on. So, and when we do the what ifs, it's always a negative outcome. So there are certain belief mechanisms within perfectionism. I won't go deep into them. I just put them here just as a reference as well. But you can see filtering, how you would filter the negatives and jumping into conclusions. Oh, I just fluffed. Everyone will think I'm useless and that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Catastrophizing, yeah, they'll judge me and I will never be able to present again. Black and white thinking, there is no gray zone in between, and should and must, as I mentioned, is a really big one. And then you label yourself, I'm so stupid. Yeah, I'm such a failure. And again, magnifying others' achievements and minimizing your ones. And overgeneralizing in terms of, it's always like this. I am always useless. Others are always happier. And I just quickly made how these work on a cycle, really, that would go round and round. And in cognitive behavioral therapy, we would then be looking at where is the best for the client to break this cycle. And of course, we look at it together with the client. So we identify this as an example, making a mistake on a report and what kind of automatic thoughts, the branches. And then I must never make mistakes. That's the rules. And if I make mistakes, then I am a failure. If then. So the emotions that are triggered, the physical sensations and the behavior, which then keeps confirming that you're right, that that's the way it is. So we agree with the client. We look at this with the client, or I do, and agree how we can work on breaking this cycle, whether with the thoughts or with the behavior. Sometimes behavior, just testing out a behavior that they always do, breaks the pattern of the thought as well. So what we practice grows stronger. In terms of strong pathways, we then weaken them by starting a new pathway. That's the wonder of our brain and the brain plasticity. And related, so we looked at the thoughts related, there is a lot, so tell me to slow down if you think that it's going really, really quickly. I just wanted to cover quite a lot, and I know that our time is limited. So there are certain emotions, physical sensations, and behavior that are directly linked to perfectionism. But you will also notice that many of those would also be seen in generalized anxiety disorder, for example, checking, rechecking. It has to be perfect. I got to check it again. I got to recheck it. And, oh, I'm going to check it again just to make sure there's no spelling mistake, for example. And you get exhausted in the end, but you can see that OCD is quite similar to that as well. So procrastination is a really big one with perfectionism. And I can say that I was procrastinating a lot when I was doing my dissertation, my master's dissertation. So all the housework was done, everything else was done except a task in hand for a long, long time. And when I finally finished, the last day, the last minute, I went to the shop to get it nicely, bind in the bookshop. And then I got on the train just before the university closed, so I could give it to the student services. Got on the train, got off the train, and suddenly realized I was on the platform and my dissertation was continuing to Liverpool Street Station on the train. So my delivery was not so perfect. There was a lot of panic. I had to reprint and unfortunately deliver through the post box, and not so nicely bind either. So procrastination can really cause all of that panic. And besides with, a performance, checking and rechecking and working hours and hours to perfect the work that we're doing, there is the tipping point of our best performance. And after that, the optimum tipping point starts lack of focus and making mistakes, and performing slower, tiredness, and not so engaged with what you're doing. So in the long run, it really causes panic and anxiety, and finally breakdown, burnout. So we have already looked at it, but on the right-hand side, I have written some more thoughts related to perfectionists, how we must, for example, never say no, or they'll think I'm incapable, that I can't do my job properly. And so if we think about anxiety, there is a lot of relation, because what we perceive that might happen, or how people should be perceiving us, and how good we must be doing, how perfect we must be doing. Yes, it is a very huge area. And thank you. Anxiety is okay in small proportions. If you're having a presentation, or if you're performing, or you have an important exam, yeah, it's okay. Dry mouth and, the physical sensations, the shakes, etc. But it becomes problem if it's prolonged, and if your stress is prolonged, it becomes anxiety, chronic anxiety. And fear, again, is okay. When we are in real danger, it's really helping us. It helps us save ourselves. Our brain is designed to keep us safe, but it's not designed to keep us happy. Its first job, most important job, is to make sure we are safe. But sometimes, as we can see with perfectionism, it can work against us, and it can limit our lives, stop us from living the life that we deserve. It's great that we have the fear response, fight or flight. It's great. That's something we share with other species. You can see with the zebra running away from the lions. Great. It's in fight or flight. So all of this is happening, the physiology of fight or flight. And I'm sure many of you know this already, what happens, your heart rate going up, the activity in digestive system really stopping, so the blood goes out to your larger muscles to fight or flight, and adrenaline is released as well. So but what's the difference between us and the other species? You don't see a lion, as far as we know. There are no lions. Once they did not, if they missed their prey, the prey got away. They don't sit down and think how useless they are and that they can't even catch food for their family. And what they do is they're like, okay, where is next? And they just move on. Same with the zebra. They don't go, oh my God, I must never go anywhere. I must never get out of where I'm standing. I might be eaten. Yeah, it just moves on with life. It might avoid that area, that particular area, but the systems go down and they don't come up as perceived danger. That's what we do. Humans, we go for perceived danger. Our brain has that ability. It was meant to keep us safe, but it doesn't really. So what I really would say is your thoughts affect your feelings, and your feelings affect your behavior. Your behavior becomes your habit, and your habits become your life. So be careful what you think, and don't believe everything you think. They're just neural connections in our brain. And I also wanted to just touch upon how our brain takes in the information, the reticular activating system. It just focuses on what we believe to be true. So we can work with our clients to notice different and open up the reticular activating system to filter different information. And that really reminds me of a quote by Thomas Edison, who said, "I have not failed. I found 9,999 ways that didn't work." So that's the spirit. So I will say that values, I think, are really important to discuss with our clients, what they hold dear to their hearts. And sometimes it turns out that they focus on something that doesn't even matter that much. And working on the teaching them how to relax their system, how to bring on the parasympathetic system online, so that they are also able to relax themselves when they need to, that they can learn to calm their body, because parasympathetic system doesn't get online by itself. The sympathetic system, fight or flight, is involunteer, it's automatic. But the parasympathetic system takes effort, so they actively need to engage. And on that note, I would like to engage your parasympathetic system now. So I'd like you to just relax in your chairs. You have been taking in a lot of information, a lot has been going on, and I will just guide you.
3 minutes to complete calm meditation by Aylin Webb. This exercise will help you calm down your body and mind through breathing and imagery. Sit down comfortably and relax in your chair. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Hold it. As you breathe out, notice sinking further into your chair. Take another deep breath in. Notice the air filling your body. Hold and slowly breathe out. Your body now is slowing and calming down with each breath. As you keep breathing in and out, imagine in the eye of your mind that you're in a beautiful forest, sitting down by a tree, completely relaxed. As your back is leaning into the mighty tree, feel the calmness of the tree through your back into your body. Smell the earth and the fresh air. Breathe in the calm, cool air from the tree. Hold it. Breathe out. Direct distress to the tree. The tree will take it into its comfort room and clean it for you. Breathe in the calm, cool air in blue. Notice it filling up your body, your lungs, all the way down to your fingertips and your toes. Notice how heavy your body feels, how relaxed your mind is. Breathe in calm, and fresh air in blue from the blue, filling your lungs and your body. Notice how your body and your mind is relaxing a little bit more with each breath. Just allow yourself to enjoy the calmness of your mind and your body. Now start noticing the sounds of nature in the room, bringing yourself slowly back from the forest. Notice how calm your body is. Whenever you're ready, remember to take time off regularly to relax your body and your mind, to tackle stress and anxiety.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that one. So we just activated our parasympathetic system, so we're feeling relaxed and yeah. So one of the things is, I think that, we have to break the news to our clients that 7.9 billion others also have lots of flaws, and that they're human and it's okay to make mistakes, but there is only one them, which makes them unique. There's only one you. No matter where you go in the world, out of 7.9 billion people, there will not be another you. And by itself, that makes you very unique. So celebrating the achievements, no matter how small you may think, and practicing mindfulness, just even starting with the shower. We always go, oh, we think that shower is the place. I got to do this, I got to do this, and after shower I'm going to cook this, and so on. Now I got to do the shopping and so on. So take the time to enjoy the shower. Just be mindful, the water, how it feels, how it sounds, and so on. And treat yourself as kindly as you would treat a loved one. Expectations, I think, are very, very important. What we expect also sets our happiness, which I will show the equation in a second. But it also turns out that the money, after a certain amount, people actually don't feel any happy. We just adopt hedonic adaptation. We adapt to whatever we are earning, and it doesn't make us any happier after a couple of days. So what you practice grows stronger. Exercise, eat healthy, and of course, make sure you get enough sleep. I don't think we pay enough attention to sleep as well. And your past does not define your future. So the software may need upgrading. But the equation is really simple. Our expectations met, we are happy. Our expectations unmet, we are unhappy. Our expectations overmet, we are grateful. So we can practice a gratitude diary of the things that are overmet in our lives. So, and self-acceptance and authenticity is one to work on as well. As the Japanese art, I think many of you might know kintsugi, that they glue broken pottery with gold to appreciate imperfection, how beautiful it also can be. And taking imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So thank you very much for listening. I'm sorry I think ran slightly over of my talking time, and I hope you did enjoy. There's some information about my workbook here on Amazon. We listened to 3 minutes to complete calm meditation. Just let me know. I'm happy to send it to you. Do connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you all. And any questions, please let me know. And any comments.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Aylin. If anyone
Thank
has
you.
any questions, please, you can take yourself off mute now or put your question in the chat and I'll read it out. I'll just give it a few moments for questions. Thank you very much. I'm just going to read out a couple of points I wrote down, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I love our mind is like a tree. I love that way of explaining the automatic thoughts being those branches and leaves. I've written the diagram here. I think it was fabulous. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
It was quite a shock to hear, that age group of 16, 17-year-olds and how much kind of pressure and comparisitis and expectations that are being placed and the impact that's having on their mental health. That was quite a shocking number, really. And that kind of expectations from others, and just noticing where I maybe notice it in my own life or maybe with the people who I work with. And I wrote down here thinking habits. I did a few of those when I missed reading out your funny bio. So a little bit about Aylin is she speaks Danish, and to help her speak Danish, her father encouraged her to eat or put in her mouth a hot potato. Is that correct?
Which one? Sorry, you echo. So
to help you speak Danish, you used a hot potato in the mouth.
Is it written anywhere? When I'm originally Turkish. So when I was moving to Denmark because I was getting married, I said to my dad, Dad, I'm moving country, and I was only 19. So I said, is there anything, do you have any advice, wise words? And he went, make sure you use a hot potato when you're learning Danish. And I was like, okay, but I never forgot it because it is, I never forgot that advice because it was so true. It helped.
I forgot to say earlier, so I thought that was fabulous information. I'm just going to read the comments there. We've got, thank you so much. It's a great, huge area. Thank you so much for today. Thank you so much. Very informative and interesting. Excellent. Thank you for an interesting session. Lots of thank you. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do now is, before we head away, we're just going to do, although this is a wrap up and we're coming to the end, and please, if you do have any questions, do reach out. If you want to reach out to Aylin personally, you can find her on LinkedIn, and you can always chat away with her as well. But it is time to wrap up. But before we do, we're going to do 60 seconds of CPD. Because as you know, often when we reflect after the event, it can go into tomorrow and the day after, and we can use those kind of pinnacle moments of real ha-has that we've taken from our own learning. So I'm going to set a timer for 60 seconds, put myself on mute, and if you could write down either on a CPD log or in the chat here some key learnings that you've taken from today that will help you and help your clients. And I will start for 60 seconds now.
Yeah, that one is an interesting one, isn't it? That we actively need to take control, master our minds towards what we want, because on the other side of fear is our fulfilling life.
Thank you, Margaret. Less expectations. I love it. Would it be okay, Aylin? I know you have a call to action, a bonus that you've written down in your speakers form about the attention training resource.
Yes, so there are several resources. There is the 3 minutes to calm that we just played. You are very welcome to share it with your clients. It's just to help anyone. And 3 minutes turns out to be really good for many of my clients, because they don't want to do 20-minute meditation, but they say that they can even run to the toilet when they're really stressed at work and just put that in their ears. So I would be really happy to share that one. There's also attention training that I recently finished. It's something completely different. In that one, you use a lot of brain power to focus your attention between different things. So just working on focusing on different sounds as well, and then shifting between the sounds. So I can send that to you as well. And I would also be very happy to share with you the first couple of chapters of my workbook, which is, the workbook is, it has got quotations, but they are themed. Every week has a theme. You can choose yourself, of course, how quickly you want to finish it, or your clients can, but it is designed to have one theme each week. So you've got 7 quotes for the week, and in the beginning of the week you have reflection, in the middle of the week you have reflection, and at the end of the week you have reflection about what you've done differently. How did those quotes help you with mindset in the morning? And that's got a lot to do with RAS, the reticular activating system, so that we are opening up this filter in our brain with the different mindset in the morning than we otherwise would have. So the first week is about vulnerability, the strength in vulnerability, and the second week is about hope. The third week is about letting go, and then we build up from there with authenticity and empowerment and strengths. Now, as I said, each week has got 7 quotes related to the theme of the week. So we will send you the first 2 chapters, and you can see whether that's something that might help your clients as well.
Thank you so much. So, incredible masterclass, and that is a wrap. I'm literally just going to read the answers, and then we can. So we've got Margaret.
The book is on its way. Yeah, they're doing, as we talked about earlier, Lisa and I, we talked about it earlier, that the graphic designer is expecting it now, because he's like, come on, Aylin, send it to me, because we need some graphics in it that will, of course, match, things that I'm talking about. Yes, there's a 7-chapter book that I have finished. So yeah, so do connect with me if you're on LinkedIn, and you will always hear about what's going on. I always put out a lot of helpful resources out there as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm literally going to check my to-do list as we say goodbye. So yeah,
yeah, Margaret says, are you procrastinating? Well, that must be. Yeah, I mean, yes.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Actually joking.
Yeah, get me out of here, as they say.
But I put myself a deadline. So August, now that I'm sharing it with you, so I have to keep myself accountable. So August. And it should be
out. You heard it here, everybody. August.
It was really more about how much they charge to do everything. You need an editor to read it, you need a graphic designer to do the designs, and before you know it, a lot of money has just gone out of your bank account. So yeah, that was more that than procrastinating, really. Yeah.
We have one comment here from Kate, which I'm going to read. Never fails to amaze me how much we have to consciously work on helping ourselves to be happy. Absolutely. And I thought that emphasis on the values was really a golden nugget as well, Kate. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Aylin. Please connect with her on LinkedIn. The recording will be available once we sent it to our admin team, and it will be out there. And please do reach out to Aylin in terms of her bonuses that she's very
and send your comments, please. Please do share your comments, that give us feedback. If there's anything we can do better, I can do better, please do let me know. I promise I won't beat myself up. But I would love if you have any suggestions that can make this more fun or more engaging, do let me know. I'd love to do that. So and again, thank you for engaging. I think you have been amazing with your comments in the chat. Thank you.